Africa, screw you. That's quite harsh.
It
Hi,
is.
Farida. How are you?
Good, thank you.
Welcome to South Africa.
Thank you.
What was at issue here?
Well, I was invited, as well as many other young Africans, to attend the African Youth Network Summit in Pretoria. And when I got here, on my way from Johannesburg to Pretoria, I received a logistic note in which it says that any delegate that goes missing will be reported to immigration and deported immediately. And that sparked an immediate anger in me, because I have known the difficulties that many of these delegates went through to obtain visa. Many actually were not able to come, even though they are highly accomplished young people that have traveled the world. They were still denied visa to come to South Africa. Some have, and despite the difficulties of some spending days in foreign countries, like from the Gambia to Senegal, just to apply for a visa, paying hotel fees, transportation, just for the visa, this cost not being reimbursed. And for us to get here and to be told that we will be deported immediately if we go missing, I believe that the language and the wording that was used was extremely offending for us young Africans who are invited for a social justice summit.
Perhaps in telling us why you took it upon yourself to fight this battle, let's just backtrack a bit and go back to why you were invited to the summit to begin with.
I was invited as a member of the Africans Rising movement. I am the engagement and collaboration coordinator. We are a Pan-African movement that has over 7,000 members and over 150 member organizations, and we work towards promoting justice, dignity, and peace on the continent. We are activists that actually put our lives on the line, organize solidarity missions in very different countries when there are crises going on. Our activists have been arrested for trying to highlight situations in foreign countries. We do this work because we believe in solidarity among African people, and we are actually inspired by the way Africans were in solidarity with the struggle of the people of South Africa during the apartheid, and we are trying to replicate the model in different countries that are fighting against tyrannical regimes. So coming from that background, we are activists and we are people who are fighting for righteousness on this continent. I believe we deserve a better treatment, and this also falls in a context of an organization that is promoting unity among African youth. And justice. So when you are bringing youth together to promote unity among them, and some of them already feel ostracized and have in the back of their mind that if they don't find me in 5 minutes, I will be deported immediately, it already puts you it already kind of like puts you in an inferior position where you feel like you do not have the same freedom and liberty and privileges as everybody.
Do you understand why the South African authorities would put out a notice like that, though?
I do. I will, you know, it is quite saddening, but South Africa is the country that deports the largest amount of black people on earth. South Africa deports the largest amount of black people on earth. We have been hearing of deportation in the United States, of how they are strengthening the immigration policies. But in the US last year, less than 2,000 Africans were deported. In South Africa, almost 60,000 were deported. That's like 30 times more than the United States, which we think is actually the worst right now. South Africa is the largest deporter. At some point, South Africa was deporting almost 300,000 Africans yearly.
But on the flip side, South Africa also accepts a lot of people coming in from the region and the rest of sub-Saharan Africa. Is there a way to balance those issues?
The amount of people that South Africa accepts compared to other African countries, it does not place South Africa even in the top 40. South Africa is actually one of the toughest places for any African to go. What actually angers me and hurts me the most is the fact that any other person who is not African can easily come into this country. You're an American, you walk in when you feel like it. You're a French, you walk in when you feel like it. But you're a Togolese, you have to go and stay in Ghana for days to apply for a visa and spend money doing that and not even being sure if you will be granted that visa.
Have you managed to reach out to the authorities, and what would you like to see happening?
I would like to see the South African authorities understand that if they want to be a champion on this continent, as a champion on a political scene, they have to have more respect towards Africans and black people. There are certain things that we imported from colonialism. The word deportation itself is very derogatory and denigrating. The South African government has to understand that African people are not the enemy. And if African people become their enemy, they are putting themselves in a very difficult position. At our movement, we believe that every African should feel safe and happy and free on any African country.
We have to wrap up the interview because of time, but this is a big issue we're talking about. Just let us know what happened in terms of the event you came here for.
I boycotted the whole thing as an act of process. I decided to take care of all my costs. I booked a different hotel. I took care of my own transportation. I rejected everything they offered. I even said that the tea they will offer at the scene, I will not drink it, because I do not see that if I can be deported so easily because I am Togolese, or any other African can be deported so easily, it means we are not welcome. And in my culture, when you're not welcome in a house, you don't touch anything when you get there.
Farida, we hope there's a positive finalization of your outcry, but thank you so much for coming through. Farida Nabourema wrote an article called South Africa, Screw You, in relation to treatment upon landing in the country. Right now we're going to